Ted, happy to be here. And when I walk in the door, Earl says, "The coffee's ready." He knows me.
Our speakers sticked out, so I'm waiting for her to. Yeah, that's okay.
I need to get some water. I need some water. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw the. I mean, I'm asking.
Welcome. This interesting thing, I've glasses, it's like, these are my up close glasses, so I can see this, but then when I look out at you, you're just a blur, so I'm just gonna keep doing that. What a lovely group of people today. This is just, the energy is just really lovely and the day is beautiful. So thank you all for being here. Welcome to Vashon Island Unitarian Universalists. I'm Robbie Rohr and I will be your service leader today. And I want to thank in advance Tanya Roberts and Catherine Sullivan for putting together this service. They've done a lovely, lovely job of that. And I want to make a special welcome to our speaker, Michelle Montgomery, who's right there. Yay, thank you. So welcome. Let's do a little like. Gee, Ken Sinclair, who was going to be accompanying her, is sick today. So we send him our best regards and are appreciative of Michelle for carrying the thing for us, Our congregation is committed to and strengthened, is committed to individual freedom of belief, welcomes diversity, seeks to promote a sense of community, and fosters religion, which enriches our spirits. We are a mostly lay-led community. We are strengthened and enriched by weaving together the contributions of our members and our friends, and our community is supported and guided in a wonderful way by our minister, Reverend Victoria Poling. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional homelands of the Swabash Coast Salish Native people. The Puyallup people have lived on and stewarded these lands since the beginning of time and continue to do so today. We recognize that this land acknowledgement is really just one small step toward true allyship. And we commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of the indigenous people of this land and beyond. As we begin our service, please join me in taking a couple of deep breaths in order to become fully present. Put aside your expectations, put aside what's coming later in the day, put aside your worries and concerns, and just focus on being here with us today. So several deep breaths. I'd like to invite Pamela Gott to, first I'm going to ring our chime, and then I'm going to invite Pamela to light our chalice and share our chalice.
For the chalice reading today, it's a shared story by Reverend Sandra Fees. For the stories that long to be told and retold. For the stories that long to be imagined and reimagined. For the stories that long to be envisioned and celebrated, we kindle this chalice. May its flame bring the light of different truths, different paths, and different voices, all needed to cultivate a transformative story of justice, love, and beauty.
Thank you, Pamela. That was wonderful. So Martin Luther King Jr. Day is Monday, and so this is a service that's intended to honor MLK, the efforts that he led, all of the people who had joined him in the amazing actions and belief that got us to where we are today. And just to kind of name the real thing, you know, where the inauguration is this week, MLK Day is 3 days before that. And I think all of us are coming today with trepidation for what the future might unfold. But so I think this is an important opportunity for us together. I mean, look, I want people to look around, see this group, just see your community, you know? I mean, this is a wonderful community, and we're lucky to have that as we go into this period of time. So we're celebrating MLK and his legacy and the legacy of all those brave people who worked with him for so many years. And I think today, as I was reading through the amazing script and the songs that Tanya chose for us today, that this is an opportunity for us to feel gratitude for what's gone before us, and hope for what isn't going to happen quickly, which is a return to kind of the society that we think we live in and we want to live in, but also a chance to appreciate this community and who we are as individuals, what we can be as a group. So the songs are amazing for today, and so appreciative of you for choosing these, and for Kat, and of course for where they came from, for their legacy. Our first hymn is number 97, which is Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child. And even just saying that, I know probably takes all of us back to times when we've heard that song before and what it pulls forth from us. The song is from an African-American spiritual dating back to the early 1800s.
97.
Yeah, 97. Yeah. As with most African-American spirituals, the origins of this song are hard to establish. The first citation appears in Old Plantation Hymns by William Barton in 1899. 1899, William Barton was an American congregational minister, author, teacher, and lecturer from 1880 to 87. He lived in the South, where he witnessed enslaved people singing spirituals. Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child in particular. Eventually, he wrote the melody and words down, yet the song has survived primarily through oral tradition. This song conveys the sadness that many enslaved people felt at being such a long way from home, both in the sense of being far away from their native Africa, from the realization of how they had gotten to where they are here in the United States, the sense of being forcibly separated from family and friends. It can also be interpreted as a longing and a welcoming of death, that other home, which many slaves saw as their only escape. Kat is going to play the melody through for us once, and I invite our worship song leaders, if we have, to come forward. So let's listen to it once, and then we'll join in, and please rise in body or spirit in joining us in this hymn.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Long way from home. Long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I have no friend. Sometimes I feel like I have no friend. Sometimes I feel like I have no friend. A long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Long way from home. Long from home.
Today's service is titled Deepening Connections with Community Passageways. And we're, as I mentioned, honored to welcome back Michelle Montgomery, who works with Community Passageways. For those of you who are new and may not know this, our relationship with Community Passageways started a number of years ago with Tanya offering her home for one of the young men who was working with Community Passageways at that time. And she began a relationship with the organization, particularly I think with Ken was your first contact. So kind of thanks to Tanya's perseverance, we have continued to develop that relationship. We are so fortunate to have had both Ken and Michelle here with us a couple of times. And at one time, Kim opened her farm, and Kim and Dennis opened their farm, and staff came from Community Passageways to hang out on the farm. It was, I think, their way of offering a bit of healing space and appreciation for what they do. So I have a wonderful biography of Michelle that I get to read. And how many of you remember when she was here before and she performed her God, that was wonderful, huh? It was like such a nice change for us. So Michelle Antoinette Montgomery, her, is a transplant to Seattle, having moved to Renton in September of 2019. Shortly after her arrival, she discovered that her plans for her living arrangements did not coincide with her own values. And she made the decision to make a sharp pivot, which some did not understand, and chose to rely upon her intuition and her inner guidance to reside in a safe place, in of all places, a tiny house village for the homeless. Born and raised in Memphis, Michelle graduated from the alma mater of her parents, HBCU, historically Black College and University, Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee, where she received a BS degree in communications. Due to the COVID-19 epidemic, Michelle's stay at Lehigh Georgetown tiny house village was extended to 2 years, not what she had expected. During that time, Michelle found herself living with the very same populations that she had served for more than 20 years in Memphis and in the tri-state area of Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi. She was shocked to discover that administration and staff encouraged residents to use the language of victimhood during general conversations and meetings, thus discouraging any idea of being one who overcomes. Michelle refused. While facing a bout of depression beyond anything previously experienced, Michelle received through meditation and prayer that her purpose of being at the homeless camp was for more than shelter. Her residency there was designed to be a training boot camp of sorts in her new home, where she would continue her work in social services as more than an advocate, but as a survivor who sees people first for who they inherently are and that some may have forgotten. She would like all beings to remember who we are. We are light. Raised in the Baptist Church and a current and active member of Open Heart Spiritual Center, she considers it an honor to have been guided to work for and with Community Passageways, knowing fully well that such an opportunity in Seattle and the Pacific Northwest is rare. The last member of her immediate family with no present ties to extended family members, she chooses to create her own family and stays in connection with her ancestors and roots by volunteering in the community, journaling, meditating, and performing spoken word freestyle poetry. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle's favorite things are giggling, even more her pup, Lucy Pearl, film, and attending theatrical performances and live concerts of varying styles of music. And she wishes upon stars, don't we all, that her knees will last at least another 40 years as she enjoys spinning around a dance floor. Lastly, Michelle's favorite quote is, "Starve the ego and feed the soul." Michelle. Is that right? So there's actually a change in that. Apparently this is what this says, but we're going to show the video first. Is that right? We're not doing a video. Okay, let's take a little minute of calibration. Okay, we don't have a video, but Michelle will do us just perfectly well. So we're going to go back to that plan, and Michelle, welcome.
I really like to kind of sit amongst them. There's so much out there.
She's gonna project.
There's so much that I want to say. There's so much that's going through my brain. You know, the only reason that I'm at community passageways is because of my friend Elijah Lewis. I don't know if you're familiar with Elijah Lewis. Young man, about 23, 24 years old. I'm 56, 57, 58, all of that. So Elijah was a baby. He was a baby. I knew that I wanted to meet people in the Black community of Seattle because there's so very few of us, and I was missing us. Missing my folk. So I decided to volunteer at Africa's Town. I volunteered, and the young man was there, and he was in charge of volunteering for Africa. He was in charge. Focused truth. He grew up in the Central District. He was a part of Seattle, right? And he asked all of us, where are you? So I told him, I said, where I'm from, wake up in the morning, you see a stranger, you say, hey, good morning. You open the door, you fool. Call everybody, ma'am and sir. And if you don't, people that you don't know will get you tired. Living in Seattle was the first time that I've ever been in the presence of people who looked like me, did not speak. Elijah told me, after the meeting, I promise you. Baby told me, I promise that after today, you'll never be in Seattle alone. I thought to myself, that's what I said. Months later, I was working with Mercy Housing. And one of the women who lived in the building, she told me, she said, you know, when you come to work, you bring cornbread, neck bones, and stuff. She said, have you been to this restaurant that we have here in the city? I said, no. And because I wasn't supposed to be friends with anyone who lived there as a resident, she gave me the address and she said, come on, meet me over here. It's a place called Simply Soulful, and I'm going to buy you there. Offered to buy me there. But I walked in, the music, the food was delicious. And I found myself singing as I was eating, having fun. And I asked the woman who was walking around with a tray, I said, hey, this is a big space. This is a huge space. And it looks as though your awning kind of rises up, right? So I know you have people performing here. So can you tell me what happened to you? And she said, oh, well, I'll be right back. Little did I know that she was the owner. She came back and she said, well, why do you ask? Well, I like to do it. She said, but we're having a reopen. Because of COVID, we couldn't open in the way that we wanted to. So how about I take your information and we'll just see what happens. A few weeks later, I got a phone call from a stranger I heard. who invited me to come. And so they said, oh, we need a picture. I'm not that great at technology. At that time, I really wasn't on social media. Someone stole my phone when I was at the Georgetown Village. Well, I had Facebook on, so I lost everything. And they said, just send us a picture and a brief bio, which a week later, they said, so now that we shared all of this, here's a flyer. And they have my face on the flyer. And it was with the lady who sings blues music named Lady Antebellum. She's originally from, I think, Mississippi, or she's from somewhere down south. They said, so she's gonna be performing with her band, and you'll be doing poetry, and we might have a person. And she said, so what I need for you to do, I need for you to bring people with you. I need for you, and then she called me again. And then she sent me an email and said, I need for you to pump this up and bring people with you. Who can I bring? I invited my friend who no longer lives in Seattle. He moved back to Seattle. He's also vegan. So I invited my friend to go with me, and he said, oh, sure, I'll be there. I invited my friend Kirsten for to collaborate with me. That's two people. That's two people. Tears rolled down my face. Months later, on April Fool's Day, I was walking in my neighborhood of Capitol Hill with my dog, walked past Seattle City College, kept walking. And then I heard pow, 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 pow. I said, "Look, that's 1-5." Now, I may work with community passageways, but I have never held a gun. I can't stand guns. Cousin Elijah put me in one of his many businesses, a book called Imperial Dictionary. They taught me how to use my cell phone. That's good. Someone said, as I said, thank you for that. Hey, there's something wrong. Elijah. My first thing was a week before that, I called Elijah from my job at Mercy Housing because the person that I was working under, he was a brown man. Looked like me. So I called Elijah and I said, something's telling me all you are asking me to know the place. I can do the things that I love to do. Love me back. He said, oh yeah, send me your resume. Let's see what you have going on. That's it. 2 days before April 1st, I talked to him on the phone. He said, I got your resume. I think I know some places, and we're going to get together and have a call. That day never happened. But 2 weeks after that, I got a phone call. While I was at work, a woman named Toya. She said, hi, Michelle. Toya. I work with community pastors. You know how things are now, so you don't recognize the name. But it came up Seattle, verified, so I answered it. I said, I'm sorry, but I don't have the wrong number. She said, no. I have in front of me that. Only reason. Oh. last Monday, after 2 years, trial started. Trial started. I don't like to read certain things in the newspaper. I barely watch them. I watch them. I look at headlines in the news and take it in, but I don't go in depth because it hurts. My coworkers can do things that I can't. I like to get people on the other side of the trauma. So I can help them get on the other side of that. That's what I do. So when I was invited by Elijah's mother, who I've got close to, late night conversation, and she asked, can you come to court? That's no problem. I'm gonna represent. And I just knew that we were going to be there. Well, just young man came in, handcuffs on. First of all, I was sitting there, over his couch, thinking, oh, I don't have children, but I can imagine that I'm gonna love my children. I like what they do. And then his attorney, someone wrote down a piece of paper, his high-powered attorney was hired by his parents, said, well, the gun that he used was not registered. It was a handmade gun. They call it a ghost gun. We can't admit that. That's not it. So I didn't. Next thing I know, I said, well, there's something else to look at. I like what you do. The work that Elijah did as an activist, and he was an activist. I saw him on television even before I knew who he was after George Floyd's murder. If you Google it right now, you'll see stories in Seattle. Story in the LA Times. Story. My friends who never met this baby would send me information. Is this your friend? I just read this article. Is this the guy you were telling me about when you were crying? I just read this article. They're not going to be able to admit in court who he was as a man. And that people quoted that he was the next Martin Luther King of the Puget Sound. Not listen. So that's what how to get rid of it. How to make people learn how to love themselves. But I don't really care what color you are. You can be blue, black, brown. It does not matter. But at the end of the day, a life was taken that helped open up a path for me. So when I went outside and all this morning, because I was at Kim's house, which I love. Because one morning, when I woke up in Capitol Hill, I took Lucy out, and I saw the people that I used to live with at the homeless camp, who were living in a brand new apartment building that we all got into at the same time. And I appreciate it. But I got sick. I need to go somewhere, but I don't have enough money on vacation. Where can I go? And I was walking around and call that lady. I started going to email. 24 minutes, reached out, and later on, Kim said, oh, that's in our invitation. Come out. She allowed me to come. Last time I was here. I love country, but I'm not country. But this morning when I was standing outside of her property, and I was thinking about Elijah, and a message came in, don't forget, we're all gonna be in the courthouse. We all know what's happening in the world of fire. We all know what's gonna happen when someone is going to take office. But we get to have control. Control, not think. I don't care what anyone tells you. And then it said, who's gonna sing the song, Wade in the Water. Now my grand and my mama and my dad told me, you know, that song is about when the slaves were escaping and they used to what? Wade in the water to get rid of the scent. So the dogs couldn't get them. So the slave catchers couldn't catch hold of them. So what I planned to do for the next 4 years, just like I did in the corner when I was in Kim's lovely home at that wonderful tub that I like. I was pouring on my hair and I was saying, we're gonna wade in the water. We're gonna wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. And we're at the Puget Sound, so guess what? God's gonna trouble the water. I looked over Jordan, what did I see? A band of angels coming after me. God's gonna trouble the water. So whoever it is that you know, who's already, I like to call it transition. Because I know that when I die, I'm going to another place. I'm going to transition into something that ain't from me. I could be wrong, too. But God's going to whether we want that trouble, we want to have a taste of bitter herbs, or whether or not we want to have a taste of sugar and spice, sweets, my water is going to be sweet. Every single time that I think about people in California who no longer have the things that they had the day before, they woke up with their bodies. Some of the people that they love, how many times have we lost innocent things? Think about all that water sitting right there where everything burned and they couldn't get to that water. God's on the truth. Are all where that person who's going to take office who didn't even have the kindness in his heart to reach out to people and say, do you think that it happened that way, that on MLK Day, that's when they take the Oval Office out? I said, well, look. So it's already worked it out, so that we are aware of who is actually. Not for those who are black, white, and other, who voted for Trump. I say, you're not going to see anything? Why? What was wrong with the town? My granny couldn't vote. But you can vote. You made your choice. Now let's see what's going to happen. Right? So make your water sweet. I have no idea of everything that I just said, so I hope they got it on the tape. Water, like something. All right? All right. Yeah. God.
You can introduce it. Michelle already did, but.
Right, we're gonna go, we are gonna join in singing that song now, which is number 152, I believe.
210.
210, there you go, back on another page.
In the water, wait, watch children wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in white. God's gonna trouble the water. Looks like an Israelite. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water. Children, wade in the water. Gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. Looks like the band that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade. Children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Do that again. Wade in the water. Children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Damn.
So she was pretty amazing, huh? Is that, yeah. Ah. So we were going to show video and we were going to have Ken here. And since those aren't happening right now, I'm going to suggest that we talk a little bit about what Community Passageways does. So y'all have a better idea of that. And if Michelle comes back in and wants to join us in that, that would be great. But I think we can piece together a little bit for those of you who don't know much about Community Passageways. So do we have the video? Yeah. Let's do it. Okay. Okay.
To cut it in half.
This is my family that came out to support. She's free, y'all. She's coming home.
God, and we know that those who wait upon the Lord should renew their strength. They should be not weary, they should run and not faint. And so we're just thanking God today.
A lot of our work is reactive because my focus has been on felony diversion so deeply, and I've been so focused on it because that's my goal is to pull the kids out of the fire, right? But we need to keep the kids from falling into the fire, and I need to have even a bigger focus on that, going further upstream. I would love for you
to think about having a handful of cases in the system of kids, just a handful, right? And then have a bigger focus on building out our programming in these schools with these young ladies because they're asking for it. So anyway, sis, I love you. I'm
I
proud
love
of
you too. I thank you for this opportunity. It's been really good for me, especially coming straight out of prison and working, what was it, 3 days later? It has really given me something to focus on and haven't had a lot of idle time, you know, to dwell on the past. It's been really good.
When you gonna be ready? You got your car, you got your license. You need some help with getting your little studio spot or something?
Oh, you gonna help me pay studio?
I'm
not living in no studio. I just left the studio at party. I ain't going back to the cracker box.
Well, it's 1 bedroom or something.
What I want to do is I want to like purchase my bedroom set,
just
put it
get all
away,
your stuff
then
together.
purchase my living room set. So then when I move in, because I'm not doing the air mattress or none of that. But no, I'm gonna be smart about it. You have to hold yourself accountable.
I know I do, but.
So listen, so tomorrow you're not gonna be able to cheat. You know this. And that should have been your plan A anyway. Just do the ones that you know and go on to the next one. Yeah, you gotta do it today. It's gotta be done.
Building an organization out of love. That's what I built this organization out of. Out of love for my community, love for our kids, love for our young adults, and trying to break that cycle of so many young people rotating through the criminal justice system because it's just been grinding us up. Everybody's like, we have a broken system. No, we don't. That system is not broken. That system is doing exactly what it was built to do. Right. Now we're working in some South King County schools, being proactive and preventive, and not just waiting for a young person to end up in the criminal justice system to help them, trying to go further up the pipeline and give them these opportunities of mentorship, leadership development, employment. Then we also go down the pipeline where we're going into the detention centers, the jails, and we're dealing with young adults. So we go sit down, meet, visit, talk, and fight cases for them and try to get them out on house arrest or whatever, and take them through the process of getting them the employment and the jobs and apprenticeships and internships or housing, mental health assessments, drug assessments, whatever it is they need to do. And we try to support them through all that.
Job opportunities for minorities.
For minorities.
Christiana. Where you at?
I'm about to get off in like 5 minutes.
You look so cute. Christiana was referred to our program through her probation officer. She had a misdemeanor charge. With that referral, she's a light touch. She wasn't someone that we had to go to court continuously for because she's pretty driven on her own. How does it feel being back in school? Do they know your situation?
Yeah, they all do.
They do?
Yeah.
Have you opened up to the other students? Do they know you're pregnant yet?
No. I feel like it's better. I feel better off just by myself alone. I feel like I get a lot of things done that way. But I mean, it's cool to have a friend here and there, but I feel like they wouldn't understand the situation I'm in right now because they're not in it. So it's kind of at my age in my friend group, they're like, oh, let's go party and this and that and that. And I'm like, I tend to keep those friends away.
So do you feel isolated?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that everyone has somebody. It may not be somebody in your home that cares about you, someone on your job or in your school, but Community Passageway has given a pathway for me to be able to care for these kids. And it's important because a lot of the kids that I work with, they have the same underlying issues that I grew up with. I don't want them to become 31 years old and come at the end of themselves and end up in a prison for 40 years or no longer here. To help individuals in an institution to try to find something to be happy about. It's important to me to make sure that I'm not who they say I am. Just because I'm here on a violent crime doesn't mean that I have to be violent within prison. It doesn't mean that our lives have to stop here. And that's my number one. I can remember when that door closed behind me and I felt trapped in this little room. And I was like, what do I do now for the next 30-something years of my life? What do I do now? remember feeling a sense of hopelessness and I felt lost. I sought professional help. I was able to share my truth. And in sharing my truth, I understood where my crime stemmed from. And it was all the way from my childhood. It was from my childhood. I was so broken and I didn't even realize it. I got up every day and I put my best face on and I just navigated through life. That's crazy that no one knew, that no one could see it, that I was so put together on the outside that people thought that I was happy. And I knew that life, even on the inside of the prison, could be better than what I experienced on the outside imprisoned. Christiana is going into her third trimester, and we were talking about what the next chapter looks like as far as her giving birth and who's going to watch her baby while she's at school. I was in some misdemeanor trouble as a youth, and Christiana, she's a teen mom, and she had a misdemeanor charge. She is like a younger version of myself. I wanted her to start thinking about connecting with family members or someone that could be a resource to her. And I don't want her thinking that she can do it all by herself and then become overwhelmed in the process.
When I got done with that question, I said, the last question that I want to ask you is, what was the most traumatizing moment of your childhood? That when you think about it, it brings tears to your eyes. When you think about it, it just makes you want to cringe, like you just want to crawl into a hole. Like, and it brings back all this hurt and pain. I don't care what it is. And if it's too personal to share, just talk about the emotions you experienced through that time. I started going and getting a box of tissues because I knew it was coming. I started putting tissues around in each circle. Mind you, there's 80 people going through this training. This was my very first training of an educational staff. I've never done it before. I'm winging this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? I'm just figuring it out as I go along. And they do this, they're crying, they're in tears. And I'm going, you just described your trauma of your childhood in that moment. But think about this kid going through this daily, where it becomes his normal part of life. Then he has to walk into this school and walk into your class and be treated by you the way you treat him. How would you have felt if an adult treated you the same way at that traumatizing moment when you were a child? So you guys have to understand who you're working with.
Hi, Katina, it's Andrea. I'm headed to the court right now.
My biggest concern is that, number one, I might have pushed Andrea into a position way too fast.
About this here. How are you feeling?
I'm not around her 24 hours a day. So she could be taking her time out alone and meditating. You know, she might be doing that. I'm not sure. But I need to be sure. Because I don't want to put her in a position that all of a sudden everything just kind of gets overwhelming to her. I've done it to a couple of young people that I work with that just got out after doing some time and have been institutionalized most of their young adult life. And then they get out and I'm like, yeah, I've got you a job. We'll get you a place to live. We're going to get you this. And then they start doing it and start going out and they just freak out and implode.
He's eager to get to work and be productive. He was very willing to start school. And he started school last Friday and he's been attending regularly and not only just attending, but doing the work that is required of him.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for the work that you're doing, being a transit point in the way for those services. Thank you. So with that, I'm releasing from the HM today.
So excited right now. The judge decided on the case with my kid in his favor. He no longer has the electronic home monitoring on his ankle, and he's free to just go about, find a job, go to school without this barrier and continue with his life. This is a trip that I'm here. I'm doing this so soon after being released myself. It is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. It's pretty cool. It's like I'm paying it forward and I'm giving back the gift that was given to me.
Are you on this side?
I think that the next chapter of my life, like right now, since my release, I'm staying with family and kind of branching out into my own space. I'm 52 years old and I've never lived by myself. I was a kid having a kid, so I've always had someone in the household. I'm excited about what that looks like.
We are doing damn good work. We are changing lives. Where I'm at is I'm opening up these doors and building these relationships for these young people to take responsibility for their actions and make better decisions.
You gotta get fired up when you got a project you want to put in place. You gotta make sure this is gonna be successful no matter what.
And when you fall and stumble, we're gonna be there to pick you up, dust you off, and say, let's start again. We're still here.
No, I don't think so. It's exactly right. I got it.
She's got it. All right.
I think.
I was consulting on tone and our expert here says, go for it. So we're going to go, we're going to sing our third song, which is hymn 152 in your books. It's called Follow the Drinking Gourd. It was supposedly used by an Underground Railroad operative to encode escape instructions on a map. You're right. That's awfully uplifting.
He's mentioned in the song.
Yeah.
He had a peg leg. He had a either a club foot peg leg kind of thing. And so they were supposed to look for a man who limped and follow him along the river. So it is perfect.
Yeah.
It seems perfect
Yeah.
after that.
It says it's used as a code name for the Big Dipper star formation, which points to Polaris, the pole star in north. So leaders, if you'd like to come forward and help, Kat's going to play the melody through once, and then we will go into Joyce and Concern. So it's hymn number 152. Is that right?
Follow the drinking gourd, follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is waiting to carry you. Follow the drinking gourd. When the sun comes back and the first square calls, follow the drinking gourd. drinking gourd, for the old man is waiting for to carry you to freedom. Follow the drinking gourd. Now the river bank makes a mighty good road. The dead trees will show you the way. Left foot, back foot, traveling on. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is waiting for to carry you to freedom. If you follow the drinking gourd. The river ends between two hills. Follow the drinking gourd. There's another river on the other side. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is waiting for to carry you free. If you follow the drinking gourd.
We're now going to pause the recording as we prepare for joys and concerns. The inside cover of the gray hymnal.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
So we will now resume recording as we finish the service. Our congregation engages beyond our walls for peace, social and economic justice, freedom of belief, and protection of our planet and its inhabitants. Once a month, we contribute the financial offering to a regional, national, or international organization that aligns with our values. And this week's offering supports our beloved community Passageways. We've learned firsthand about the work they do, and from Michelle about the spirit that runs throughout the organization. And we encourage you to donate generously for today's plate collection. I'm going to ask the people who collect just to give us a minute. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not ready when they get here. So let's go ahead and start singing, and then I will ask the ushers to come. And Kirk says, does everybody get that? Checks to community passageways. Okay. Cash is always appreciated.
For this precious day, gathered here, thus far away, we share with love and care. Thanks for this precious day, for this precious day, from gathered here to far away, for the time we share, love and care. Thanks for this precious day.
Thank you. If you didn't have your stuff ready, I'm sure you can send it later, but this is such a great organization. So And thank you, Michelle, for representing it to us. Our last hymn is hymn 149, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lyrics by James Weldon Johnson and set to music by his brother, J. Rosmond Johnson. Written from the context of African Americans in, let's do a second here. In the late 19th century, this hymn is a prayer of thanksgiving to God, as well as a prayer for faithfulness and freedom, with imagery that evokes the biblical exodus from slavery to the freedom of the promised land. First sung in 1900, Lift Every Voice and Song was communally sung within Black American communities, while the NAACP began to promote the hymn as a Negro national anthem in 1917, with the term Black national anthem similarly used in the present day. It has been featured in 42 different Christian hymnals, and it has also been performed by various African American singers and musicians. Its prominence has impressed since 2020 following the George Floyd protests. In 2021, then House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn sponsored a bill proposing that Lift Every Voice and Sing be designated as the national hymn of the United States. Kat's going to play the melody through once, and then please all join together in singing 149.
Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought. Facing the rising sun of a new day. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chasing rod, love in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have over the way that the tears have gone. We have come over out from the gloomy past till now we stand last, where the white gleam of our bright star is past. God of our years, God of our silence, who has brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by light led to the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Let's now keep straight from the places of where we can be. Stop our hearts drunk with the wine of the world we forget. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our name.
Pamela is going to extinguish our chalice.
These words are by Reverend Vanessa Southern. May the stories we tell name the largest truths of what was, of what is, and pull us forward to what should be, as stories were always meant to be.
Our formal service is now over. I'd like to give a special thanks to those people who made today possible. Tanya and Catherine, Michelle, Catherine again for doing tech, Kat for playing, and set up group 3 for all that you've done. You're all invited to stay after for incredible good things to eat and community. And we are going to have announcements. And then after that, we will do Go Now in Peace.
A quick announcement. Last week, someone said, oh, that they wanted to read the book that Maya Chance had written. And I don't remember who asked for it, but I brought it to give to whoever had asked me last week, but I couldn't remember who asked for it. So if one of you did, I brought the book.
You want to say who Maya Chance is?
Maya Chance is a member of our congregation, and she wrote this book. It's called The Body Next Door. It's a novel. And
It's not Maya Cyphers.
not Maya Cyphers, Maya Chance. But yeah, she's an author, and she wrote the book, but I can't remember who asked me. And I said, oh, I can let you borrow my copy. But anyway, maybe.
So if you're here, let her know.
Hi, I'm Jessica, little but mighty board member at large, and I have moved the recycling. So when you are in the kitchen with a wet paper towel or napkin, you're gonna not put it in the recycle. You're gonna put it in the garbage, because I keep dumping those out of the recycle that's in the kitchen, and I think it's just too tempting to have it right there. So like, we'll just give ourselves a moment of pause when we're like, hey, where's the garbage? Where's the recycle? So then you'll remember to put it in the right place. So the garbage is at the end of the table. The recycle is over by the coat rack, and the service team will take the recycling home at the end of our gathering, which is me today. And that way we don't have ants or mice or the little visitors that we rent the island from, basically. So, all right, there you go.
So true.
Just a quick announcement and a volunteer opportunity if you have not yet had the chance to serve on a service team. It happens that next Sunday is service team 4, and also next Sunday, George and I are going to be in Ithaca, New York. So we have some openings in service team 4. If you would like to join us and find out what fun it is, please talk to Marilee Runyon.
Hi, I'm Kim, and there's a peace walk today in honor of Martin Luther King at the Center Island Forest. I believe it starts at 1 o'clock and it goes from 1 to 2.
Which pathway, which trailhead?
On 188 in that open space. Yeah.
And it's silent, no banners, no, nothing. It's silent.
I'm Beth, and I wanted to tell you that next week, the Mystery and Wonder Group will be providing this service. We are a house full of stories. We'll be exploring 4 different perspectives on stories and their spiritual roots. Hope you can come. See you soon.
I haven't shared this with the board, but I'm just going to throw it out there. We have a family that used to come here with children, I mean, many families, but in particular, one family, Rachel Stendhal had a baby girl last week. And the plan is, according to her mom, Karen Stendhal, is that all the Stendhals, when this baby is old enough, which may be next week, they're all going to come back to church. They have 3 little girls now. The other side of the family is, oh, I can't think of their names, Frankie and it's Sophia Stendhal's kids. They're little girls. They came with their grandma. So, I thought we might clean out the playroom or put out some crayons, whatever. I get some cupcakes. I don't know. But I really, if this happens, it's going to happen in sometime, maybe next week. But we got to handle it. So I know we will. Thank you.
Makes me think, last week we had story for all ages, and did people like that? We used to do it pre-pandemic when we had kids, and then it kind of went away when we didn't have kids, but sitting in the back, I see people, and it seemed like people like it. So those on the program committee, try to weave that into your service.
Speaking of volunteer opportunities, the Sunday Program Planning Committee is meeting this Thursday at 11. Anyone who would like to join us here at Lewis Hall. And now I invite us all to send us forth.
Now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere.